Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B, and we come to you each and every week on College Football Monday to update you on what's going on around the nation, along with a heavy dose of what the Hokies are up to. And Sam, tonight, boy, oh boy, are we going to talk about those Hokies.
Ooh, boy, oh boy. Do you want to? I got it right here, Pete. I got my manifesto right here. I'm ready to go.
Handwritten notes, ready to rock and roll. We're going to get Sam to give us some cheers in just 1 second. Make sure to hop in the chat. Send over any questions you may have for us. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Sam, get us kicked off here, man. Give us a cheers.
My cheers is to a handful of upsets that we had this week. I think week 2 was slated as like, oh, this is a boring week of football. Not a lot of big profile games. You got Michigan, Oklahoma, and that's it. Well, buddy, you were wrong. We had upsets all over the place. We had just sensational moments in college football craziness. This is why we love this sport, is for games like Mississippi State, Arizona State, like we'll talk about. It's for Army going to the Little Apple in Kansas and taking down Kansas State. It is all of these things are what make college football great. It was a phenomenal Saturday of ball, and that is worth a cheers.
Cheers.
I haven't poured into my glass yet, but
I'm raw dogging it tonight. Just straight from the can. No glass tonight. I'm normally a glass guy. I've got a West Coast style IPA. Only the bitter stuff for me. I'm going Mike Leach. You got to have that bitterness.
This is not a great beer that I'm drinking, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. In this episode, we'll recap all the wild stuff that happened in week 2. We'll go over what happened in Blacksburg on Saturday night in about 25 minutes, so around 8:30-ish. And we're also going to give you our stock up and stock down teams and our playoff 12. We have both updated our playoff teams. That'll be fun a little bit later in the show. But you were right, Sam. Week 2, it was upset Saturday. So much fun and good football that happened all over the country, which does make the Hokies even more harder to stomach at times, right? Like when all this fun stuff is happening and you see teams like Mississippi State having a great night who have been struggling, right? But then us, we never do anything good. But I do want to talk about what went on around the nation before we get to our Hokies.
It sounds good to me.
Did you check out the AP poll at all today?
A little bit. I mean, I didn't deep dive into the graphic that Reddit College Football puts out that shows everybody's ballots, but yeah, I mean, I think Ohio State is reigning supreme in this sport right now.
Yeah, they look good. There's also 11 SEC teams now in the poll. 10 wasn't good enough. We needed to get 11 in there. And
that doesn't make an argument for 12, Pete.
It doesn't even include Auburn or Vanderbilt.
And Mississippi State has a top 10 win. Like we need to.
No, Auburn isn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't include Mississippi State or Vandy. Yeah, Auburn and Mizzou jumped in. Yes.
Prepare yourself, because there are some teams that are in that top 25 that I don't think will be there in a few weeks. And we need to prepare ourselves for the possibility.
No GT in there right now. No BYU. Yeah. I mean, they might as well just rank all the teams. Put all 16 in there. Why don't you just do that?
Why do we cap at 25?
Because it's just the way it's always been done.
It's just such a. I know we do, but like it. I think 25 is a weird number in modern college football to cap it at. But that is maybe
with 136 teams now. Like 25 just is a low.
The other ones,
right? Well, think about college basketball. It's 350 teams. There's only 25.
Yeah, that's very true.
SMU, Florida, and Arizona State dropped out. Clemson is at 12, which is kind of funny considering what we've seen from them. They're ahead of Oklahoma and Iowa State.
I think the idea of Clemson is at number 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll talk about
Clemson is just, it's a construct. It's not really
it's a belief system. It's not really a.
All right, let's get to our top 5 games. Start with USF and Florida, because that one came down to the wire. It was a battle of field goals until USF finally scored a touchdown at the end of the third quarter on that long pass to Singleton. They added a safety. It's 15-9, but Florida wasn't dead yet. They scored a touchdown early in the fourth to take a 1-point lead. USF goes 87 yards on 8 plays and wins the game at the gun on the foot of a Grammatica, Sam.
Crazy. And it's like, USF does kind of have a bit storybook to them. Like that game against Boise State, they got 2 fumbles where Boise State was driving in their own red zone and they had a fake punt touchdown and the quarterback's trucking people. And then the next week you take down your arch rival, like not arch rival, but like in-state rival in the swamp. And you do it on like an 87-yard drive. I think they played Florida really evenly. And that's maybe the most important note about this game, maybe even less than the result, because this wasn't a game where, like the Boise State game for South Florida, where like the ball just bounced your way and everything went right. This was a game where you went mano-a-mano with a team that a handful of people had in the college football playoff.
I know.
And have one of the Heisman hopefuls at home in one of the toughest places to play in college football in the swamp, regularly said to be one of, if not the loudest places in college football at night. And you come out of there with a gutsy win. It was not pretty football by any means, but USF is at the point now where I think there's a world where they could go 10-2 and be the G6 representative.
They could, because as we may talk about later, the group of 5 is not as strong as some other years. Not every league even has quality representatives. I mean, we saw Liberty lose this past weekend.
Oh, Liberty's out. Liberty's not a good team. They're not a good team.
No, they are not. But before the season, they were one of the contenders for a G5 spot. No longer. So the number 13 Gators go down. Napier kind of coached like Brent Pry in this one. He coached a little scared, never went for it once on all the 4th and shorts they had. 11 penalties for Florida. A lot of penalties in general. I think there was 20 total between the two teams. And Florida only had 1 turnover on the interception from Lagway. But it was a sloppy game by the Gators. And that defense, like the point total doesn't really reflect how much USF was able to do on that defense, something that they really didn't expect.
They are a very, very fast football team at every single level. I mean, that's one thing that popped when I watched them play Boise in that full game was the speed that they have on the defensive line to just chase guys down is really, really impressive for a team playing at that level. So I think like they have that matchup against Miami. It's at Miami, but like Miami's not going to run around them, you know, like
Probably not.
They're going to have to win that game in different ways. And in South Florida, man, like I think they are going to athletically overwhelm most teams remaining on their schedule.
Byron Brown outplayed Lagway. He had 329 total yards and a touchdown, drove them down the field for the winning score. The offense for Florida, on the other hand, just was never in rhythm. Like Lagway, 60-ish QBR, maybe sub 60. And we're, like you said, we have to start taking USF seriously. The problem with what UCF has done to themselves is they've already slayed. USF has done to themselves is they've already slayed 2 dragons, and they've got a third one in Hard Rock. So you're doing the back-to-back away. And can they rev it up again? Like that's the hard part.
They still have Tulane on the schedule, correct?
They have to go to Tulane. They have to
go to New Orleans to play Tulane. They got to go on the road to play Navy. I mean,
it's tough, man.
It's actually a tough schedule.
They should, 2 out of 3 of these games, Boise, Miami, and Florida would have been enough. But for whatever reason, they scheduled all 3.
They've been known to schedule tough out of conference in the past. Something about this game as well. Not only did USF play a good game defensively, but Florida only had 2 explosive plays in the entire game.
Their offense didn't look good, man.
Yeah,
I said rhythm because think about Lagway not being available before the season, being in a boot, and whatever else they were saying about him.
I think we need to, and on the flip side of this, we also need to talk about Florida. Napier, and that being the number 1 job opening in the country by a substantial margin. I honestly, let's say in a world where this and Alabama open up, I think Florida's the one you go to. It's still number 1 over Bama. In terms of track record,
cooked, right? I mean,
Billy, he's gone. He has so many opportunities for big wins though. Like if he goes 7-5, he would have had a phenomenal. There is a world where Florida plays 4 consecutive games against top 10 teams.
Yeah. They got 4 ranked teams in a row, then Mississippi State, then Georgia.
I mean, they might have the. I thought last year they had one of the toughest schedules in college football history. It might be tougher this year.
You know, we're going to talk about Oklahoma a little bit later too. Have you looked at the end of their schedule?
It's abhorrent.
It's absolutely crazy. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about Mississippi State starting fast and holding on to stun Arizona State 24-20. The Bulldogs were rolling early, got out to a 17-0 lead, but Arizona State finally got going in the second half, scored 20 unanswered, and they took a lead with 1:38 to go. But Chapin came up with a huge pass to Thompson. There was a little bit of a defensive break. I think a guy slipped. 58-yard touchdown, 24-20 Mississippi State. They get the interception from Leavitt to end the game. What a win for Jeff Lebby. What a turnaround.
What a moment, too. Like, the moment was set up so perfectly. It's a home game at night, blackout. This was a really interesting one because Mississippi State played them really tough last year in the desert. They get them at home. The vibes around Arizona State preseason, they had all the returning production, Sam Leavitt coming back. And then you heard Kenny Dillingham, like his whole offseason was like, we're not looking good. And it was like, oh, is that just like a football coach amping his guys up? And then they weren't super dominant against Northern Arizona in the opener. And now they have this performance where they didn't play for a whole half. And I mean, I think they dominated this game on like a play-by-play basis. They had a 51% success rate, which is really freaking high. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit, the Big 12 is maybe gearing towards only like 2 or 3 teams now because Arizona State just hasn't shown it this season yet. A little bit worried that without Scadaboo, they're just above average.
What's weird in this one though, like the running game was working for them. It like Scadaboo was not missed. It was Leavitt who couldn't get it together. I mean, he was 11 for 22 or 10 for 22, something like that. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Was not good.
They had 2 100-yard rushers for Arizona State in Brown and Udo. Udo played a good game. The transfer from
Army, yeah.
Chapin threw for 279, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. And Arizona State dominated time of possession, but was just 3 of 14 on third down. And that kind of told the story along with the 2 interceptions, 8 penalties. Great early storyline, though, for the Bulldogs early in the season. No one saw this coming over the summer, really. Like, I thought Southern Miss might beat them in week 1.
I mean, so did I. I picked Southern Miss money line in that game, and that didn't happen. Now, I learned my lesson. I picked the Bulldogs money line in this game. That worked out, but that was more about the spot, less than the team.
Yes.
I mean,
they're having the anti-Virginia Tech start to their season. Absolute.
You know what? You know the season they're having right now. They're having what Arizona State had last year, and they're having what Indiana had last year, where a team just comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden looks great. Now, I will say, pump the brakes because it only gets tougher from here.
Oh yeah. So I mean, just like every SEC team, there's a lot of games to play in that conference. Kodak, I see your comment on the screen here. We'll get to that when we get to VT Corner. That's coming up in a little less than 15 minutes. Oklahoma State takes down Michigan 24-13. I liked OU to win this one by about a touchdown or more. And after the first half, that was looking good. Mateer threw 1, he ran for 1, and it was 14-0 going into the break thanks to Michigan missing a field goal. But Michigan did come out of the locker room with that long touchdown by Haynes, 75 yards. A few drives later, though, OU put up another touchdown, and it felt out of reach for Michigan. And it was, because I think there was a turnover after that. It ended 24-13. Michigan, outside of like the one explosive play, like they were never really threatening in this game, and Underwood struggled.
And it didn't look like a Michigan defense that we've come to know. You know, Oklahoma was able to move the ball. Mateer is, I mean, he's the closest thing to Johnny Manziel I think we've had since Johnny Manziel in terms of his out-of-pocket playmaking, and the zip he has on the ball is...
Whoa, that's some high praise right there.
I mean, he is. Like, you watch him play, and it looks like Johnny Football. Now, can he do it in the moments that Johnny Football was able to do it? We'll find that out, but he has that to his game for sure.
Yeah, so I mentioned Bryce Underwood struggled, but that was really warranted considering being a freshman, going down to Norman. He had a 40 QBR, just 9 of 24, 142, less than 6 yards per attempt, no touchdowns. There was even like a heated argument on the sideline between him and some teammates. Like, whatever.
This is not their year, and I'm so confused as to why they were consensus top 15 in the country.
Well, I gotta say, I would have been very surprised by Michigan winning this game.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna do the Rosillo. Like, I come away more impressed with them, to be honest. Like, over these last 2 weeks, like I just feel like Underwood will be good. They played well, reasonably on defense, and looking at their schedule, like Michigan's schedule, it's not very tough. Like, clearly they have the Ohio State matchup. Outside of Nebraska in a couple weeks, there's a lot of potential wins on that schedule.
Yeah, and I think for them, it all boils down to that game at the end of the season. And that's something that they've kind of been able to put an exclamation mark on their season for. So I think they're going to be fine. I think they're obviously a very good team. I'm not saying that, but I don't see playoff for them at all. I really don't. And I don't see this being, this is kind of like that Harbaugh year. Was it the COVID year that they weren't very good at all under Harbaugh? I think it was the COVID year.
Yeah, I think so.
This to me is like their worst team since then, roster wise in total. Like, they don't have playmakers on offense at all, I don't think. And Underwood is going to be asked to do a whole lot as this season goes on.
Do you think they get that Nebraska game in Lincoln in 2 weeks?
That's going to be tough, especially if Nebraska's defense is a little better than what we thought they were going to be. Now, Nebraska only played Akron this week, and Cincinnati is a pretty mid team, so it's hard to tell so far. But that's going to be a tough game. I mean, that's a tough game.
Is it? So OU, for them, like, playoff is clearly the goal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they can do it, but Mateer does seem like they got what they paid for it with that kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if you were a betting man, Mateer as the Heisman frontrunner is not out of the question right now. Their issue is,
I think isn't he the leader in the odds?
I think so. And their issue is, like, if they have 1 week where they have a few too many injuries on defensive line or linebacker, or like whatever, like, they can't take an off week. They don't have that.
No.
And so it's going to be really hard for them to get to like 9-3 and be in the discussion. So I think that's going to be a really tall task.
Back to their schedule. Oklahoma finishes currently in the top 25 with 7 ranked teams. Their last 7 games are against 7 ranked teams. And I think there's even one before that too, like 2 weeks before those 7. So it is crazy difficult for Oklahoma. And it's a reason I have yet to put them in my playoff, but maybe that will change.
Yep. They're a wait and see team for sure.
SMU blows it versus Baylor 48-45. They got off to a great start. Jennings was on fire. They were up 10-0, then they're up 24-14. Then, like, the two teams started going blow for blow, like kind of exchanging touchdowns. But SMU still led 38-24 with under 9 minutes left. Baylor ties it with 2 great passes from Robertson, who was sensational. 34-50, 440 yards and 4 touchdowns. Jennings' play really started to deteriorate, like, as the game started to wear on.
Yeah. I mean, you saw some of the issues that he had in the Penn State game, where it was like he would make plays that were just horrific. And then like the one he had where he threw the ball like 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. Like, he was 3 yards past the line of scrimmage when he threw it. Was just boneheaded. And SMU's defense, I mean, talk about a step back. Just a massive, massive step back. I know Baylor's a very good offensive football team, but this was, if you were to close your eyes and picture, like, what does a classic Baylor versus SMU football game look like? It's 48-45 and really weird.
Yeah,
like,
this is old school Big 12, like TCU Baylor, like those kind of matchups.
And one of the reasons I said the Big 12, I think you're starting to see some contenders fall by the wayside. I love Baylor's offense, but their defense is bad.
It's so bad.
It's bad. Yeah.
But this was a big win for them after losing to Auburn in week 1. And for SMU, it's one you let slip away. Like, you really let it slip away at home, no less. This was in Dallas, and it will haunt them. ACC is still wide open, but the ACC could have used this win for credibility purposes, and it didn't happen. SMU loses to a Big 12 team for the 2nd straight regular season. And finally, our last game in the top 5 rundown here is Iowa State winning the Cy-Hawk Trophy. I put this one just in over Kansas and Mizzou. Maybe I should have put the other one in, but it was a hideous game. Zero explosive plays.
Mhm.
Neither team got to 250 yards of offense. Gronowski was bad. 3.5 yards per attempt. That is so bad. That's hard to do. It really is.
I think something that college football coaches and major programs need to wrap their head around is the FCS to power conference and even the G5 to power conference quarterback transition 95% of the time does not work. It just doesn't. And we've seen it with so many guys now. It is so rare. Like for every one Cam Ward, there's 20 Daquan Finns who like looks amazing in the MAC and then can't keep the starting job at Baylor. So I really wanted it to be good because he seems like an awesome quarterback and he was sweet at South Dakota State. But the difference in level of play is so massive. This was somewhat a predictable outcome for the Iowa offense.
It was classic El Assico. Like that's really what it is. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, it is the old name for this rivalry that I believe SB Nation and some of those guys made famous, El Assico. But that's just a survival game for Iowa State, and they did just that. They survived. They won. Is that your dog? Is there like there's some kind of sound coming
there is a beeping happening, and I think it might be the dehumidifier. I might go check it because it keeps beeping. But my dog is I don't think he likes it, and he's under the desk right now. So if you're watching on YouTube and you see my arms, like that's me petting my dog.
Well, I'm gonna do the ad read if you want to
do the ad read, and I'm gonna go check what the heck is beeping really loud in my house.
Sweet. As I said at the top of the show, College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. The #1 cocktail in the world is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, Cherry Coke, Vanilla Coke. You can get the combination in a can. And they have the variety pack. You can get cherry, vanilla, and original all in one box now. Billy, I think, put out a video talking about that, had his helmet on, getting fired up for the game. Didn't turn out so good, but the message about Jack and Coke still rings true. You can get them in your local grocery and convenience stores, liquor stores, beer stores. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke, ready to drink. And as always, when you're having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. A little bit later in the show, Sam and I are going to do the roundup of other games that we want to talk about, like the Mizzou game that I just mentioned, the Border War, which was a wild game and scored one for the SEC. We're going to talk about some of those upsets because there were some kind of unusual upsets that happened across college football. We got to talk about Duke. We got to talk about Clemson, Ole Miss, Kentucky, Oregon. We're going to get to all that stuff after VT Corner. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about my beer right now until Sam comes back. I'm having the High Lie. If you guys aren't familiar with this, it's from Cigar City in Tampa. I actually went to Tampa for my bachelor party. We hit up the brewery. It was awesome. But the High Lie is just a great standard traditional IPA. 7.5%. Like I said at the beginning, it's got that bitter West Coast taste, but on certain nights with food or you're grilling out, like it really hits. And the can is perfect. Little maybe too close to the Miami, the U here, but love the font, love the can, and the beer is so good. The High Life IPA from Cigar City. It hits, man. It's always good. All right, give Sam a second to return, and we'll get right into VT Corner. There's some stuff that we're going to go over later. And we might do it on our next show on Under the Influence about just power teams and who's the worst one in the country and what that grouping is like and where VT sits. And I'm afraid that it's bottom 10. That's for sure. Bottom 10 in the Power 5. That is where we currently sit. Hopefully, if we do make changes at some point or another, that would change. But right now, that's where we are. I also got this comment from Kodak Black. How many years has Diego Pavia setback VT from a diehard Hokie fan. Man, I think Pat and Billy talked a little bit about this on their show last night, which is already out, that he single-handedly destroyed the last 2 years of Virginia Tech football. I mean, think about that loss at the beginning of last year, and then think about what happened the other night. I mean, Diego Pavia and them getting him into Vanderbilt to take a completely trash program to where they are now is truly, truly remarkable. So I don't know how many years it set us back, but it was quite a few. You ready?
I got it. I figured it out. We have some issue in our house with all of our fire alarms will always throw errors, and I don't know what it is, but it's very, very annoying. And my dog hates it. So, but we fixed it.
Cool. I did a short beer review, but we're gonna do yours after. Can we do yours after VT Corner?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You're the boss.
For those that may be newer to the show, this is our VT Corner segment. We do it every week on College Football Monday, and it's about the Hokies. And they got absolutely blown off the field by Vanderbilt in the second half. 44-20 was the final score. And that maybe doesn't even tell the whole story, Sam, because this was a game that looked okay for the first 30 minutes, right? The Hokies got off a decent start. It was 10-0 after one, 20-10 at the break, thanks to some Vanderbilt turnovers. They got drones running a little bit, but the second half was a completely different story and completely one-sided. I don't know what happened in the locker room, but Vanderbilt scored 5 straight touchdowns. The last one coming from their backup quarterback because they didn't even have Pavia in the game anymore. And VT got blanked 34-0 in that second half to make that final score 44-20. Outgained 307 to 21 yards, 307 yards to 21 yards in the second half. I believe I have that correct. And those 34 unanswered points, just unlike the Scar game, fans are not taking this well. What's your reaction? Your immediate reaction? How you feel?
My immediate reaction, like one bullet point, would be in the biggest game, most important game of the Brent Pry tenure, with a 10-point lead at half in a sold-out crowd at night. Virginia Tech put together what could be argued as the worst half of football in modern program history.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is they turned it over twice. They had 11 penalties, and they still smoked us.
Yes, and they had a missed extra point as well. You know, in my article that I wrote after the South Carolina game, the theme of that article was really, this team is better, but they just can't get those little things to go their way in the most important times, and they have to find how to get that. And in this game, they had that. Those little things happened for them. You get the interception on an errant throw by Diego Pavia, who never does things like that. You get the fumble recovery that you needed. Your offense is looking good. You controlled the clock at the end of the half to get points. They missed, even after they went up 23-20, they missed the extra point after a penalty that they had on field goal try. So it's still a 3-point game, and you get the ball, and you still found a way to screw it up. And maybe the most disappointing and glaring issue for me is, yes, we have a new defensive coordinator, but our head coach is a linebackers guy. We have the same linebackers coaches. We have the same defensive line coach, and they did not learn diddly shit from last year because it was the same errors by the same positions. And unlike the South Carolina game, where Virginia Tech controlled the line of scrimmage, I have never seen a Virginia Tech defensive line get pushed off the ball more than those boys did last night, Saturday night, wherever the hell they played.
Yeah, that was jarring to watch some of those defensive plays and offensive plays for that matter. On the second half disaster, there was some reaction on the Twitter sphere from national voices such as David Hale. 21 yards of offense is tied for the 7th worst second half yardage total in the ACC in 20 years. That is thousands of games. I mean, how many games is that?
mean, again, you're looking at historically bad half of football.
Outscored 45-3 in the fourth quarter this year.
Hey, at least they're starting fast though.
But so couple more. Just the fourth time in 20 years an ACC team has been outgained by 300 yards in the second half of a game. From Josh Pate, referencing the 300-yard difference in the second half. Assault.
Yeah, I mean,
the Bear, Chris Felicia, tweeted about the surrender punt. Like, we are a national joke. These are some of the biggest names, maybe not David Hale, but the other two, and several more. Bud Elliott commented on it. Like, there were so many. What happened in each respective locker room? Like, what could have happened for the second half to go like that? Zero adjustments from Virginia Tech. Completely outcoached yet again. Got run over. Like, that was a total collapse.
This is the first time in modern Virginia Tech football history that they did not force a punt.
And it's not to say we didn't stop them because we got 2 turnovers, but I should not even be defending that stat because it is absurd.
Yeah, and I will also say, if we want to go even more macro.
Well, can I ask you something real quick?
Please do.
Are we going to use the Q word here?
That was the first time under Brent Pry where I think you saw a team say, "Oh no, here we go again," and just sit down and take it.
Yeah.
Because they've done the "oh no, here we go again" plenty of times. And there have been blowout games. In his first season, there was a couple blowout losses, but it was never like quit blowout losses. It was like UNC and Drake May just pummeled them, right? Like,
we have
like
not seen a Brent Pry team do this.
That was like the most quit we've ever seen.
Yep. For as much crap as we've given him, I don't think we've ever seen his team straight up quit on the field. And that team looked like they quit. They looked like they quit.
Mentally, after it was a 3-and-out. No, you're saying fourth quarter, dude. It was earlier than that. I mean, Vanderbilt goes and they drive down the field and score, and you're like, okay, we still got this. Still 3-point lead. Immediate 3-and-out. There are no checks made at the line by Kyron Drones, who has lost all confidence in the world. He can't do anything.
He's a mental case at this point. I mean,
mental case. Can't win with it. Can't have it right now. You got to figure it out off the field. I think after that they quit.
Well, the 4th and 1.
I think the 4th and 2 inches.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not going to blame him for not going for it in the third quarter in a game that you're winning on your own 34-yard line. But you had a missed throw on second down that would have been a first down if it was thrown on target. Aiden Green made a sensational catch. And then you had a play on third down where you needed to fight for that extra yard and you didn't get it.
Yep.
And there, like, after that, I think that was ball game.
So, because by my eye, I know we were winning, but we could feel it slipping. Could you feel it slipping in the stands?
After the first Vanderbilt touchdown drive, yep. You could feel it slipping because you knew we couldn't stop them.
And that's why when we didn't go for it on 4th and pube, as our friends have been calling it in the chat, because it was that short, I thought it was over. I got to be honest, Sam. Like, I hear you. Like, it's hard to fault him for not going for it because we're winning and it's the third. But, like, one shows not so much confidence in your defense, though it does put them in a tough spot. But, like, I literally got like 5 texts saying, like, that's the game. Like, we all knew them not going for that was the game because it shows 0 balls. It shows 0 confidence. It projects 0 confidence. And it was the turning point. I mean, you could say it turned before that, but we were still winning. So I'm calling it the turning point.
Yeah, and I think this is one of a litany of games in which Virginia Tech, you know, you can play a second half when you're winning 2 different ways and be successful. Way number 1 is like park the bus, run the clock out, run your bread and butter plays, play too high safety, shell defense, you know, make them go out and make drastic plays. Don't make losing plays. Go out there and play tough. You can do that. Or you can go out and do foot on the jugular and go win. Brent Pry It's like he doesn't know which one to do. And so he does neither. And it just blows up in his face every time. This was, since he was the head coach, the 8th game in which Virginia Tech had a touchdown or more lead in the second half and lost.
Oh my God.
In 2023, you had 3 losses of such, ODU, NC State, and Georgia Tech. None in 2023. In 2024, you had the Vanderbilt game, the Miami game, and the Syracuse game. And this year, you have another Vanderbilt game.
That is wild. That is hard. That's hard to do. I said the thing about it being hard to lose to all these like bottom feeder teams in power conference football, but like losing 8 games where you have a lead in the second half. Is that what it was?
Yeah, by a touchdown. Averaging over 2 losses a year in blown second half leads.
So fans were streaming to the exits. I want to say early in the 4th. When did you and family decide to leave the game?
After the what ended up being like a 4th and 23 because they blitzed 7 people and we blocked with 5.
Yeah.
And didn't check out anything. I left then. I got to get out of there, dude. It's not easy getting to and from Blacksburg. It is a very expensive endeavor. And by the way, it took over 26 minutes to get into the stadium once I was in line to scan my ticket. So great job with that, everybody.
How were the lots beforehand? Because
bumping.
Okay.
We were bumping. I mean, tailgate scene was phenomenal. Even with a forecast of rain during tailgating time, tailgate was bumping. The stadium was loud. It was energized. It was, a great clap. Students were involved. Hype in the game, stayed through halftime.
Theo Vaughn was commenting on how electric it was.
It was great. It was a great atmosphere, Pete. It was a beautiful night for football.
And it was a devastating night for Virginia Tech fans. Pat called it a funeral on their show last night. It might have been more like a public flogging. I mean,
dude, this was some French Revolution.
We were alive when that was happening.
Yeah.
Me and you and everyone else who covers this team said that this was a must win. And you put out an effort like that. I mean, oof, like big oof, dude. And there's the question of like, this is the most devastating loss of the past X amount of years. Like, how many times have we done this question, right? Someone sent that in the chat. I was like, so where does this rank on the devastating loss scale? It's like, how many can there be?
I'm running out of, I've already written 2 rock bottom articles on SonsofSaturday.com. God damn it. I'm not writing a 3rd. Like, you can't, we've had this discussion in September for 3 years in a row.
We thought Vandy's loss last year was the most devastating of like the past 20 years, or Purdue, or Rutgers, or ODU, or an 18-point blown lead to Syracuse. Like, these are all devastating that we've had in just the Pry era. We are not above anyone.
It's a great point.
I said while you were checking the beep, like, we're one of the worst Power 4 programs out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, Pete, I said this in private group chats and stuff like that. I didn't come on here and say it. Because I'm a lifelong Hokie. I'm gonna be a Hokie till I die, for better or worse. And I'm in love with this football program and this university and the town of Blacksburg and all the people. But I am at a point now where the result on the field is such a distant factor for me when it comes to Virginia Tech football now, because it's not worth worrying about the result on the field, because I know it's not a relevant result. Like next week's game versus Old Dominion, they could win by 40, they could lose by 40, and it doesn't matter. And I've never been able to say that about Virginia Tech football, even in Pry's first year where it was clear they were a bad team. I mean, it's just, for me, I am totally uninterested in the final score of the game next week. And that is a shitty
once it starts, I think you'll feel differently.
That's fair.
I do understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying.
I think we are at a point now where, if we're being honest, on the field, not in the stands, not in the parking lots, not online, but on the field, this program right now is at a level where Rutgers was a decade ago, where Northwestern is now, where Vanderbilt was 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, you are, in the grand scheme of college football, totally irrelevant when it comes to wins and losses.
Well, and we're going to get to the comments that are in our chats here in a second, but Herbie said on game day, we are an entrance and that's it. And this game epitomized that sentiment. Like everything you said about the atmosphere and it being electric and amazing and a great night for football, we were an entrance and maybe a first half. But even the first half, like we got a little lucky. And that was it. Like this game epitomized what they were saying on game day. It really, really did. It evokes the memories of 2019 Duke. I compared it to the feeling afterwards of 2014 Miami, which Andy Bitter actually did that on TSL as well this week. Very similar and kind of having to have it in that moment and falling completely flat. Like I felt like that was very similar. Let's get to this from Chris. He is not, never has been, and never should have been a head coach. Perhaps that's correct. Probably. The hard reality is that the here we go again mentality is now our culture. We squandered the opportunity to right the ship after Beamer, and Witt just absolutely set us on a path of no return. That's from Taylor Clark. Thanks, guys, for the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Also have one from Shelton here. We love PP. So cool.
Hand
and handsome. I think I get the point there, Shelton. Thank you.
Can we do a quick little minute like college football history lesson of where I think Virginia Tech is right now? So a program that Virginia Tech on the field has been compared to a lot is Washington, the Washington Huskies. Similar rowdy, loving fan bases, not playing in the major conference, but and also children of the 90s schools, right? 1991 national titles, Washington Huskies. They won that title in 1991. 13 years later, in 2004, there was a stretch between 2004 and 2009 where the Washington Huskies went 17-54, including an 0-12 season in 2008. 0-12 as a major college football team, only 17 years removed from winning the national title. They started that run. Their head coach before 2004, their head coach was Rick Neuheisel. He did pretty well and then went on to the NFL. They hired Keith Gilbertson and Tyrone Willingham in those 5 years. They were both horrendous.
Yeah.
They then went to make their third head coaching hire since Rick Neuheisel left. So they had to go to hire number 3, and they hired a young offensive mind named Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian went only 5 games over 500. But righted the ship. He was about 500 every year, and then took his job at his alma mater of USC. And now we know where he's at now. One of the best offensive minds in college football. After that hire, do you know who they hired next in 2014?
Chris Peterson.
Chris Peterson's record at Washington was 48-26. He had 3 consecutive 10-win seasons at Washington. Went to the playoffs and all that. And he was great. Ended up retiring, and then Jimmy Lake comes in, and it is such an absolute disaster. They immediately get rid of him. And then they hire Kalen DeBoer. What does Kalen DeBoer do at Washington? He goes 25-3 in 2 seasons and plays for a national title.
What a swing back and forth. It's crazy.
And my point for that is when you have fan support like Virginia Tech and Washington do at a large state school that has money and has a football history and wants to win, if you get the right guy at head coach, you can win at a high level. And you will have wrong hires that don't work out and fail miserably. Lucky for Virginia Tech, they've never gone 0-12. I don't think they're going to go 0-12 this year. Let me just say that. But if I look at this team and I look at this program, Pete, it does mirror that a lot. Really great in the 90s. You have about a decade of being towards the top of the sport, but you get the wrong guy in charge and it falls off. And you know what? The next guy and the guy after that aren't guaranteed to win. It is really hard to hire a college football coach that can win and sustain success at the highest level. It takes a couple tries, but when you get the guy in the right place with the right support, you can win a whole lot of football games.
And are you done?
I'm pretty much done. I mean, my point is just saying, like, the idea that the program itself is dead to me is like, you don't know ball, if that's your take.
Well, sure. But it's not just one guy. It's two,
It's
three, four.
systemic.
Like it's.
But you need the leader to put
and we
all of
have
it
an
in
issue
place.
at AD, and we have this issue of like he's a dead man walking, Pry's a dead man walking. It would seem like we'll get to that a little bit more, but it's messy. It's messy, and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now when we're sitting here at 0-2 and just got ass blasted by Vanderbilt, historically one of the worst Power 5 teams out there, and now in the Power 4. So I'm never going to get that right. I'm always going to say Power 5 first, and then have to correct myself for some reason.
Just change, just do high major and mid major, and we'll move on.
But this was, I want to sum up kind of how I felt on Saturday night, and I felt bad for you. Like I felt bad for Billy and Dan and all of our friends that went down to the game, all the families that spent their money and are trying to have a nice time out, showing their kids their first Virginia Tech game. And hopefully for the kids and stuff, like the entrance was enough. But by the vast majority of fans who left early in a rage, from what I heard, like people were pissed leaving the game. I felt bad for them. And me watching the game, how I felt Sunday morning, just absolutely embarrassed to be a Virginia Tech fan at this moment. Just completely embarrassed. We got pantsed in our home stadium. Like spent the last half hour of game time, hour of real time, pantsless, ass hanging out for an hour on the field. And it really fucking pisses me off, man.
Mm-hmm.
VT fans are like beyond loyal, right? We are beyond loyal. We've been showing up for a decade to watch, for lack of a better term, shitty football.
Mm-hmm.
And all the support that we show is continuously shit all over by this athletic department, Brent Pry, and everyone else in power. To see what they've done to this program makes my blood boil, dude. Like I was incensed on Saturday night. And maybe that's emotionally immature, right? Like it's just sports, dude. Like calm down. No, I don't care. Like this is something we all love. It's something I really care about. You really care about. And the community that is Virginia Tech football fandom is important to me. And they have destroyed the thing that we all hold so close, so dear to our hearts. They have destroyed it.
Yeah.
The second half, like that wasn't about money. That wasn't about the program being underfunded, not having LED lights, playing in a shitty conference, or any of that other bullshit. That second half was the culmination of highly paid people not doing their job for almost 4 calendar years. That's what that second half was about. And it's a fucking joke. And it's fucking bullshit. And I'm angry, and a lot of the voicemails I took this week were angry, but more of them were sad. And I'm going to be angry for them because this is I can't even, I'm fuming, dude.
It's hard to articulate how like devastating it is, because I'm not going to, paint myself on a pedestal, but like I've been going to games since I was like 6 months old. Like my family has been going to games since the 60s. And the result on the field isn't everything. But when it is consistently disappointing, like going to games in Blacksburg in the fall is genuinely one of my families and many families that are listening and families who we know, one of the biggest parts of their lives. And when it's constantly a hassle and it's becoming more and more difficult to support, and you're going to leave there upset most of the time, it's like, it's almost not like the wins and losses isn't what's important. It's you have to put something out there that we're proud of. And that was not something that I'm proud of. I'm okay with you not being a 10-win team. I'm okay if you go 6-6. In the grand scheme, I would like you to win more. But to do it in that fashion and not represent to me what you need to be representing. I mean, we had guys in the postgame saying that's not Virginia Tech football. Guess what it is? You're damn right. That's Virginia Tech football right there. You get pantsed on national television to Vanderbilt. That's Virginia Tech football right there for the last decade. So if you're a transfer coming in, you've been here for 3 months, don't tell me what Virginia Tech football is. Like you need to rebuild it because you've ruined it, and you need to go rebuild that brand. I can't do that for you, Pete. You can't do that for you. 67,000 people jumping up and down and screaming at the top of their lungs can't do that. You got to do it on the field. And I'm sick of being a pawn for a social media video that gets a bunch of clicks. And I'm tired of screaming my ass off on third down. I'm tired of driving 4 hours to a town in the middle of the mountains with no cell service, nowhere to go eat because the lines are too long. And it takes me 30 minutes to get into the game because they can't update the damn ticket scanner.
Whew.
So let's figure this out on the field. Stop talking about NIL. Stop talking about a $200 million budget. Stop talking about recruiting. Stop talking about all that shit and go out there and score some damn touchdowns. Right. Because that's what you need to fix. Stop worrying about the other stuff. The suits will figure that out. You figure out what's on the field.
There was no pride on that field. There was no pride.
None.
No picking each other up. And that's kind of one of my final points here is that when you rely as heavily as we did on the portal this year, and I know we lost a lot of guys to the NFL, but they set themselves up for this, right? Like they brought all those guys back. They paid guys and they played the vets throughout the year. And then we lost them all and they had to hit the portal for 30 dudes. Well, guess what can happen when you hit the portal for 30 dudes? Those 30 dudes can quit on the field while you're playing a football game. And you can get you can turn into what happened to us on Saturday night. Like, remember Florida State last year, Sam?
Yeah.
That felt a lot like what happened to Florida State last year, what happened on Saturday night.
And, it's not really a reflection of individual character because I'm not going to say here like, oh, Cam Seldon doesn't want to win football game. Like, no, that's not it at all. What I'm meaning is you can't build a culture and a team camaraderie with a long weekend at Smith Mountain Lake. All right, a long weekend at Smith Mountain Lake is what I'm going to do next weekend with my college buddies to get drunk off my ass on a boat instead of going to the ODU game, right? It's not like you need you need time of this. You need years of this. It's not going to happen overnight. And when you're so utterly reliant on bringing guys from the outside in to play meaningful roles, you're exactly right, Pete. You're going to get instances like this.
Yeah, man.
So there's a couple things that I want to point out here. Shelton Moss, great friend of the program. Shout out Shelton. Kansas State is a very comparable program to Virginia Tech, in my opinion. Did a great job replacing the legend Snyder with Chris Kleiman, and they have less resources than us or UW. That is all factually correct. Shelton, also a very large state school in a small town. Very much like that. Chris G says, after the realignment carousel ends, VT will be left out. Will either be in reimagined ACC or with no big brands or the Sun Belt. I'm not ready to say that yet because I think Virginia Tech as a large state school and as a brand carries a lot more weight than what people are thinking right now. But you don't feel great about it.
No.
You don't feel great about it. Taylor Clark, the locker room has been lost. We'll find that out on Saturday.
Yeah, we will.
Chris G, Sam, did they upgrade the Wi-Fi? Chris, I did not have cell service from about 5 p.m. to midnight. So I think that answers that right there. FSU quit last year. Vaughn says, I have peeps feeling sorry for me, embarrassed to be a Hokie fan at this moment.
That's this one. And then Vaughn also said, we are with you, Pete. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
And you know what? I'm with you, Vaughn.
Yes. Yeah. We're all here. We're all saying the same thing.
All this together.
Adversity hit in this game. And for whatever reason, our guys laid down. They folded. And it was the speed, Sam, with which they folded. It was like, usually it takes a couple of drives for like that kind of like give up to happen. But like we watched them give up in like 10 minutes of real time, like not game time, like real time.
I mean, Virginia Tech ran like 6 snaps in like 20 minutes of game time. Like that. I don't think I've ever seen that in a football game that didn't involve Army or Navy.
All right, just a couple notes on Kyron and Pry, and let's close this thing out.
Yeah.
Kyron was not good. The offensive line was patchwork, right? Because Montavious wasn't in the game. Johnny Garrett got hurt. We're moving guys around, and it started to get real ugly.
Yep.
But even before it got so bad, I don't think they were necessarily doing the best looks for Kyron. Like they were throwing all those short passes early on. It was clearly an effort to get him comfortable. Saw us go right down the field, scored a little bit, and then they ran him. And I was like, okay, finally, like they're getting it. They're gonna use read option. They're gonna use the veer stuff that Montgomery likes, and it worked. We got right into the end zone with like 3 straight runs.
I thought the offensive game plan in the first half was solid. I thought they executed it pretty well. I think they, again, the struggles in the red zone are a little bit troubling. I think that has more to do with, we don't seem super confident in fitting the ball into tight windows, and that's going to happen in the red zone. And there's not really a quick trigger, and red zone offense is going to be an issue for this team. But I thought the offensive game plan as a whole was very good for the first half. We just didn't get to see it in the second half. They never had the ball.
Well, that's part of it. But once it started to go bad, once they were teeing off and just sending the house, which we talked about them blitzing linebackers on the preview show, there were just no adjustments. And this has been a standard thing with Coach Pry. We've seen it in just like the third and fourth quarter scoring numbers. But like, the coaches have always failed to adjust under Pry, and this was no different. I mean, Kyron's backing up and just getting obliterated. It's standing there getting obliterated over and over and over again. And like Monty did nothing, Kyron did nothing. The body language was awful. And it reminded me of Joel Embiid. Like, when the Sixers are losing and he's not having a good game and he just kind of mopes around the court. Like that was what Kyron was doing. And I know he was in a tough spot. I get it. But he already isn't good. He already can't pass. Why are we not like trying to do something different and innovative I know that there's problems with the O-line, but like you can't tell me him backing up 20 yards and getting killed is the best chance at success.
He had no shot in the second half. Like, I think you can say like Kyron missed throws. Like he missed a wide open Benji Gosnell. He, missed Aiden Green a couple times. He missed some throws, but
he drilled a guy in the helmet from point blank range. Like didn't see a defender.
It's confidence, because when he was confident in the first half, he played fine. He played well enough for Virginia Tech to win that game. But when the second thing started to go bad, you saw the body language drop. Didn't have Sam sing. You must not know me very well, Alex. That's all I gotta say. Because if that's
singing High School Musical on the bingo card,
we'll have Broadway show tunes on here pretty soon. Don't worry about it.
And then the D. I mean, we can talk more about Kyron on our other show and like just some of the other offensive stuff. But he's in his head.
He's in his head. It wasn't the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen. In fact, Virginia Tech, like I thought offensively in the first half looked decent. Improved from the South Carolina game, but there are it is you're right, Pete. It's a mental thing.
And then on defense, you said it. We're getting blasted off the ball, no resistance. It was really insane. Honestly, some of those holes they were opening up, just as Bud Elliott put it, spamming the A gap, which they were. They just kept doing the same thing over and over again, just blowing our defensive line off. And the linebackers were maybe clueless is harsh, but man, it's the same linebacker bullshit that we've been dealing with for years.
Linebackers and defensive ends were horrific. Horrific. I mean, that was Ben Bell was on another planet. They had no idea who had the ball. They were running. They were actively running away from the player who had the ball.
The clip that Mike Holmes shared on Instagram today was a classic, man. That was Ben Bell. Bad read on that one. So with Pry, we said it was concerning because we'd never seen this under him before. Like we've never seen the team quit like this in any of his other games. And we known for a while that his deficiencies are on game day. He can build a roster. I put out the tweet about the 4 stars. We have 17 on the roster now. 2 years ago, we had 7. He has raised the talent on the team, but he simply does not know how to get his team ready to play. Like mentally, they are never there. They are never in the game. It is, and never, I'm exaggerating because obviously we played decently in the first half, but you get what I'm saying. We come out after halftime and they're just not mentally in the right space to play football at all. And this is a common theme, not to mention all the little mistakes, the situational football decisions, all that kind of stuff. But during the game on Saturdays, He is among the worst at in-game decision-making, among the worst at in-game motivation. He looks like a scared puppy on the sideline, like exudes zero confidence.
I mean, I mentioned it so much in the post game because I was sitting there, second row of chairs at the post game press conference, the South Carolina game. Brent Pry was pissed, as he should have been. Kyron looked like he was about to cry, and then we get into this game, and the when your starting quarterback and head coach have zero dog in them in that 60 minutes, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble, and there is just. It's like they already know the end result. And for me, that's the most damning thing about all of this is it seems like they know where this is heading. And that is what I think it's, we could get on here and yell for everybody to be fired. It doesn't matter because we don't make decisions. But dude, they're the ones making the decisions, not us. Right. And the way that the demeanor throughout the game, the decision-making, the motivation, that is what is making the decision right now.
He's a bad head coach. He might be a nice guy, but there's no sugarcoating it. He is terrible. 16 and 23. 16 and 23 is the record. And that's awful. If you consider yourself a football school in the ACC of all places, and you're 16 and 23. I mean, Napier's 20 and 20. And they want him sent in front of a firing squad. Pry is 16 and 23.
Yeah, this is a point by Chris. I don't want to, deviate too much, but they still I don't know exactly what they are doing halftime. Peyton and Eli Manning famously have said like halftime adjustments are the biggest joke in college in football, like they don't exist. I think it is more about a mental reset and mentally locking in after that break more than anything schematic. And for me, in the 2 games we've seen this year, it has been an issue getting this team to mentally be ready to play the second half.
Yeah. Do you like my pillow pet has the bag over his head back here? I have to shout out Al Jones for that idea. It was a good idea. I had to put it on there.
I'll tell you.
But just to finish the thought on Pry here, and we gotta move on to some other stuff. If he hasn't figured it out by now, he's not going to figure it out. Yeah. And the last chance was really like the new coaching staff. Like, oh, this is maybe he'll show a different amount of fight. And I know it's 2 games, and the staff like we should like factor that in. But it's so hard to factor it in when you still see effort issues, mistake issues, like Kyron issues that are the same. Like we're seeing the same stuff, a lot of the same things, but worse. And so, and more evidence that he's not the guy is what happened in the post-game presser. Like, did you see any of that? It was brutal. Like,
yeah, it's he knows this. I mean, when you get asked a question about your job security and he's like, hey, our 3rd string tight end caught a pass, who, by the way, I thought he played really well.
I mean,
come on, what are we doing here? Like, we know it's done. It's done.
I guess, but he seemingly had like no reaction to what had just taken place. Like he was very little accountability on his face and in his voice. He seemed almost indignant to the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And like he didn't watch it, right? Like that's what it felt like listening to his answers. And maybe that's just like, I'm denying what has just happened.
Yeah, I mean, we say this all the time. Like, what do you want him to say? But I do think it's at a point now where he has to balance. I think I know how this is going to end with, we still have 10 games left and we haven't played a conference game yet. I think that's a really tough spot that this program is in right now, because he is right. There is a ton of football left to be played, but everybody in orange or maroon kind of knows where this is heading. And I think that is going to be a real test of the character of the players on this roster. What we see the next 2 weeks against ODU and Wofford, and then when they go on the road to play these guys in a very tough place to play, against a team that I don't think is very good, the
No.
Wolfpack, to be honest with you. So,
We'll talk about that in a second.
and Hokies, I'm engaged to this, so give me a break.
That's okay. That's
By
okay.
the way.
You lived down there too for a little while. I
I
think.
lived in Raleigh. I like the people of NC State. They're,
Vaughn makes one last point here, just like all out blitz, no one calls an audible or at least signal to each other, shorten the routes for the wide. Exactly. Like where's the hot route? Where's the triple option? Where's the anything so we just don't get crushed?
if anything, just hand the ball off so that your
Right.
quarterback isn't the one who gets hit.
Exactly. And we'll talk a little bit more about Vandy and some of like the regular non-emotional game stuff on Too Deep, and then we'll get into ODU and the voicemails. You guys got to hear the voicemails this week.
I'm excited.
There was a lot of them, so we'll play those on our next show. But Pry's effectively done at VT. We know that he may coach 1 to 10 more weeks, but that will be it. Because I'm not seeing a miracle happening. It could happen, but like barring a miracle, he's cooked. I mean, that was
Pete. Pete, 2 of the best seasons in Tech history were after they were 0-2. Pete, come on. Man.
Yeah, 0-2. The last 2 times we went 0-2, we won the conference, Sam. So there you go. That's exactly what's going to happen this year.
Oh.
Might have been just too much change for us to have the hope that we did. And we'll talk about our record predictions preseason, where they stand now, why, all this kind of stuff on Too Deep. That'll come to you in the next couple days. But for now, we will close out VT Corner. Thank you for putting up with our anger, disgust,
Vitriol,
lack of finding words at times, because it's just hard to find words for some of that stuff. Sam, why don't you tell us what you're drinking right now?
Yeah, so I am drinking it's called Cougar Bait, an American blonde ale from Country Boy Brewing in Georgetown, Kentucky. I picked this up at somewhere in Blacksburg area. I forget where I picked it up. Troutville. We stopped at the Troutville Kroger and I picked this up. It was on sale. It's only 4.9%. On the can here is a Old Man Fishing, and this tastes like an Old Man Fishing beer. There's very little flavor. Very few redeeming qualities about it. It's crushable. So I think if you're getting like blitzed on a summer day next to the river, you could do a 6-pack of these and be totally fine. But as far as the drinking that you and I do, Pete, in the evenings, it is not good. But here I am about to finish my second one of the show. And I think that shows you everything that you need to know about where my mental state is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I went with the highlight. That's what I'm.
And I think I looked up this brewery, and they do have some decent beers. So I don't want to trash them, but this is clearly, this beer is not made for sipping. That's for sure.
You just wanted something with like maybe a little bit more flavor or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this was a $10 for a 6-pack for a reason.
Yeah. You're familiar with this. I showed this when when you were away, but love this beer. Going down easy. I got a light beer to finish this thing out because we got some other fun stuff to talk about. Other notable games that happened. Mizzou got the win over Kansas, 42-31, in what was a kind of wild, awesome game. Kansas was up 21-6, but from the third quarter on, Mizzou kind of dominated. They were flying 595 yards of offense for Mizzou, 28-13 first down advantage. Like they really once they got down, they put the hammer down and they kind of crushed Kansas. Pribula was very good, 334, 3 touchdowns, 83 QBR. Kevin Coleman, the wide receiver for Mizzou, 10 receptions for 126. That's a nice little piece to your offensive game. And they earned a ranking, and I think it was warranted. Drinkwitz, he can coach, man.
Yep. He can coach. And Mizzou can spend, and they have a lot of talent. And I think they are going to be a very, very good team in the SEC. And I think Kansas is a good team as well. I don't think they're at that level that Mizzou is at, but that's a good Big 12 team as well. And a really hate-filled rivalry. Like that is a nasty one.
This is Crystal Collier. I believe I might have met Crystal when I was down in Atlanta, but thanks for watching, Crystal. We appreciate it. Sounds like Saturday night. She might be referring to your beer. I'm not
I think
exactly
she is,
sure.
and I think she's exactly right. Yep.
Illinois wallop Duke. This was of interest for the ACC. There were some picks out there that Duke might get this done on the money line, but 45-19, courtesy of 5 turnovers by the Blue Devils. Illinois, I know they got the turnover benefit, but they continuously extended drives in big moments.
Yeah.
Altmaier, he really came to play when it counted.
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of having a veteran quarterback who doesn't make a lot of mistakes is when you have those third and mediums, your whole playbook is kind of open and you're not really worried about the risk side of the risk reward because you know you have a guy who's going to take care of the ball. And I think Illinois, I wasn't super high on them as like a playoff sleeper like a lot of people were. I just think though they're a damn good team. They have a couple of tests coming up, but their Big Ten schedule is not that tough.
No, and with Duke, I don't think they played that bad. Like they outgained Illinois. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot. Like for what was a 26-point victory, like I don't think Duke was that far off, but the turnovers crushed them, penalties crushed them. I also thought the Duke defense was like really hitting hard. Like they were viciously hitting some of these Illinois guys. That win should age well for Illinois. I really do believe that. I think Duke's a pretty decent team.
Yeah.
And even though it's not a tough environment, I do come out of this game respecting Illinois more. Like I really do.
I mean, there was like 20,000 people there at kickoff. It makes my blood boil.
How do they have a $4 million quarterback and 20,000 people showing up to the game against a ranked team? It's so annoying.
Because they have a hospital system and this is the United States of America.
Oh, God. All right. Clemson comes back and beats Troy 27-16. Clemson was down 16-3. There was a lightning delay. Josh Pate said there was a pucker level going on in Clemson, South Carolina, which I think everyone knows what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps this was a little bit of a hangover from the LSU game for Clemson because they come back, they win with the help of some turnovers, but Klubnik didn't really look good again. They can't run the ball.
Mm-mm.
I don't like what I'm seeing from Clemson.
Which means that they're going to beat the crap out of Georgia Tech next week. I think
right. Everyone's going to take Georgia Tech this week, and then
I think Clemson is like, it's weird because this game had some weather to it. So I think you always put like weather is in lightning stuff. I think you put an asterisk next to it. But I also think, Clemson has a lot more. They're returning a lot of guys, but the way that they're trying to win this year, I think, is different than the way they were trying to win last year. Last year, I think they did feel comfortable running the ball. They had Maffa. I think their offensive line was a little bit built more for running the ball. This year, I think they're trying to do this like K. Klubnik throw for 350 a game type thing, and it hasn't quite worked out yet. I'll give credit to Troy for hanging tough, but the story here is Clemson has not looked convincing offensively the first 2 weeks, although defensively, they look pretty darn good. They've let up 17 points and 16 points in their first 2 games.
True. That'll be there all year, you would imagine.
Yep.
Ole Miss beats Kentucky 30-23. Lane doesn't cover, which I appreciated, but he does get revenge on Kentucky here. The run game carried the day for the Rebs. 138 for Lacey, 44 for Simmons, who actually had to leave the game with an injury. I think he's injured now. And then that's their quarterback for Ole Miss. If you don't know, Simmons had 3 rush TDs, which again, now it's another one of these SEC quarterbacks like Jackson Arnold and the kid at Mateer, like that are running much more than they're passing, or at least like more efficiently. So I find that interesting, but Ole Miss does get the win. And then Oregon just embarrassed Gundy, man. I mean, don't talk shit to Dan Lanning. That is a bad recipe.
And you know what? A whole lot of pundits were like, man, Oregon under 10.5. Oregon's not making the playoff. Oregon, dude, they are out for blood this year.
Didn't they move to number 1 in the SP Plus and the FPI? They
should. They had the advanced metrics for this game are hysterical, like breaking the models hysterical. Oklahoma State is bad, and I'm so happy about it. And Oregon is, I mean, that defense of Oregon is the best in the country I've seen. So, like, I mean, they haven't played any good offenses, but that defense is ridiculous. And
631 yards of offense for Oregon, just 211 for OK State. A ass whooping. That was an absolute ass whooping. Random note from the weekend. Best QBR in the country. Do you have a guess from this past weekend? You're never going to get it, but
I'm never going to get it. Best QBR. I have no idea.
Ty Simpson.
Oh.
Ty Simpson, 17 for 17.
That's see, I was going to guess Dante Moore because he was like flawless, and then they just ran the ball the rest of the game.
A perfect completion percentage, 226 yards, and 4 touchdowns for the Alabama quarterback. That will help ease some of the tension down there.
I mean, I took Alabama minus 36.5, and my only rationale was Kalen DeBoer likes to run up the score when he can, and he absolutely needs to win this game by 70. I didn't think he would actually win the game by 70. But that was, if you're a betting person, Alabama and these big spreads is one to bet, because Kalen DeBoer is going to try to win these games by these scores.
You know what crushed me in the big spread game this past weekend? Texas Tech. The line was like 48.5.
It was 48.5. They won by 48.
Yep, that's right. And that's what I had in the pick'em, which we will go over our pick'em leaders on Too Deep as well. But God damn it. I mean, because I was like, they're going to cover this. Like, they're going to score 60 or 70 and 48.
They scored like 55. Or was it?
They scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
All right, relatively large upsets. I'm not going to go with huge upsets, but relatively large. UNLV over UCLA. Calandria with 3 touchdowns.
UCLA is a dumpster fire.
Their offensive line.
I think that'll be a job opening, an attractive job opening coming up here soon.
Army over K-State. That one was surprising. Go Army beat Navy household over there for Sam.
Absolutely. I never doubted the boys. Never doubted the troops.
Yeah, they lose to one purple team, Tarleton State, and then they beat the other purple team. Ohio
500.
Over West Virginia, which we love to see.
Easy pick.
We saw that coming. We saw that coming a mile away. I think we both picked it.
2 pretty bad injuries for West Virginia. Their best running back and best wide receiver are are out for the season. West Virginia is on like 2-10 watch right now.
Yeah.
And Ohio is a very good team.
So,
if you don't know who Parker Navarro is, learn who Parker Navarro is.
And he's going into a tough place. Like, playing Rutgers and playing West Virginia is one thing, and he looked good. They're playing Ohio State this week. So it might not be great, but hopefully they throw a few punches.
Yeah, they should.
Liberty lost to Jacksonville State, as I mentioned earlier. Love it. Mm-hmm. Liberty is now an average CUSA team. Like, they're just an average team in that, and that's not a good conference.
They were tied with Maine in the 4th quarter of their opener, and then lost to a rebuilt Jacksonville State team. I said it. I was on the Lynchburg radio with Trey Lyle, friend of the program, and I was like, I know this is Liberty is in this radio station, but I got to tell you, like, this is not a very good team. And they have not capitalized on the opportunity that I think a lot of people nationally thought that they had.
Oh, no, not at all. Mm-mm. And then Missouri State beats Marshall. Missouri State's one of the new FBS teams. Marshall, for having a proud history, oh boy, this
was always going to be a tough year. They'll get back. They'll
it's
get
their
back
fault.
To where they need
it's their
to
fault.
But it is their
Charles
fault.
Huff.
Their athletic department is a dumpster fire right now. But if they got a good soccer team,
can I just say something about the region of Southwest VA, West Virginia, and how they did in football this past week? Because we had Liberty, Marshall, West Virginia, and JMU all lose, and UVA for that matter. Like, it was a rough weekend for the region.
I mean, it was like the coal industry.
All right. ACC notes. Actually, let me tell you about Roback real quick. You guys can use code 2DVT to get 20% off your first order from Roback. You know they have the polos. They have so many good ones, including the new Sandman, including the Hokie tracks, the TV logo, the game day, the Commonwealth, which is one I own and love, the Lane Stadium. They also have so many other universities, including some of those other ones in the region that I just mentioned that some of your loved ones may have gone to. So use code 2DVT, all one word. That's TWODEEP VT to get 20% off your order. Roback Crave Activity. In the ACC, Louisville was in a battle with JMU for a while, but they did end up winning by 14. The 2-quarterback system by Bob Chesney. If you have 2, you don't have 1, right, Sam?
There's a little bit of, I don't know anything insider in Harrisonburg, but it looks like there is a little bit of, if you transfer here, you'll play quarterback going on.
Yeah, because Sluka came from Holy Cross.
At no point in the film can you say that Sluka is a better quarterback than Alonzo Barnett.
Not even close.
And I think you have a couple more weeks of it, maybe. The good news for JMU is they play 2 teams up next who have really bad defenses. So I think they'll be able to just kind of run the ball with their good stable of running backs and lean on that. But Alonzo Barnett should be their quarterback.
If they didn't mess around so much, like they could have won.
They could have won that game. They really could have.
Playing tough, and they had the fumble that turned into a touchdown, and they shot themselves in the foot. But JMU is good, and they're going to win a lot of their games with ease this year.
11-1 would not surprise me.
No, not at all. NC State comes back to beat UVA. You had the interception for Morris at the end, but UVA was like, they were putting the heat on offensively, and there was no defense in this game. None.
Both of these teams are horrific defensively. UVA is going to be able to score some points this year. That's for sure. Chandler Morris he's not a perfect quarterback, but he can sling it. He reminds me a lot of Brennan Armstrong.
Yeah, I could see that.
In his production and the way he plays.
way he plays.
Not the stature, but yeah.
Smothers went crazy. Hollywood Smothers, which tremendous name for NC State. 140 rush yards and 2 TDs. He is a concern, Sam, when we play down in Raleigh. That's going to be a concern.
Is NC State kind of lucky to be 2-0?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are one possession each of those games are being 0-2.
I mean, yeah, and that's, for all the flaws with Dave Doran, hey, he's getting these 1-score wins, and he's done that for a long time.
I would take it.
Yeah, he's done that for a long time. Mm-hmm. Syracuse comes back to beat UConn.
What a cash out by Sammy, huh?
You cashed it out?
Cashed it out to start overtime, man.
What do you think about Fran Brown having them doing wind sprints after the victory on the turf in front of everyone?
It's a joke.
Dude, some of that stuff that he does, the showers are
joke.
Yeah, dude.
That was
strange.
I was of the opinion like Fran Brown's going to get hired away by somebody. I think he's doing everything he can to stay in Syracuse, New York.
That's the kind of stuff that that's too weird, man. Don't do that.
Could you imagine trying to do that in an SEC school?
No.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I thought.
Michigan State came back to beat BC 42-40 in double overtime. Valiant effort by BC. They really could have won the game, should have won the game. I didn't necessarily. I picked Michigan State to cover. Mm-hmm. And so BC busted me on that. And maybe they're decent, but it would have been nice for them to get this victory if they're decent.
Yeah, I think they have something with Lonergan at quarterback. I think they're an improved team from last year, but Michigan State, this was a big win for them in order to get to a bowl. Aiden Childs, I think, showed some flash in this game. That's going to be a bowl team in the Big Ten, I think.
UNC beat Charlotte. No worries for Bill Belichick. Took down the 49ers 20-3. They get their first victory of the season. I don't have much more there. Just thought it was of note. And then Florida State went crazy on East Texas A&M. Deuce Robinson had 160 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't think East Texas A&M is a real school.
That's not real. That's Bishop Sycamore.
I don't know. I'm not convinced. There was a
if I didn't see highlights from it,
it wouldn't have
definitely
happened.
Think it was made up.
Yeah. Do you? So that Long Island team that played Florida in week 1, didn't they beat somebody?
They did. They won. And I feel like it was a pretty good win, but I don't have it in front of me right now.
Let me look it up right now. That's
LIU Brooklyn.
Yeah. So LIU, it's now just LIU.
Okay.
They are a combination of LIU Brooklyn, who is the Blackbirds, you might know from college basketball, and then an LIU from further down Long Island. They are now one athletic. So it's like two schools that are one athletic department that are the LIU Sharks. Yeah.
Colby loves the Sharks on the college experience. Like he picks them like almost every week, and I feel like they've won him a lot of money.
They beat Eastern Michigan.
They beat Eastern
23.
Michigan.
Shout out to the Sharks.
That's a huge win, man.
My apartment's like 2 blocks from their basketball arena. You absolutely bet I'm getting an LIU Sharks basketball shirt.
Oh, dude. Okay, so before we get to stock up and stock down, which we're doing next, Oklahoma in town to play Temple this weekend in Philadelphia. I am going to the Phillies game that night, and there's a tailgate for my cousin's birthday before that. And so I may just start the day early and get over and watch OU and Temple and see what the tailgate scene is like, see how many Sooners made their way to Philadelphia, because it's like when SMU played in Boston. Like, what a culture clash, right? Like, I want to see how it all goes down. So I'm excited about that. I think the line on that one's like 24.5, because you know what? Casey Keeler has that Temple team playing Temple tough. I'll tell you what.
Yep.
All right, stock up, stock down, team. I'll let you start. What do you got for stock up, Sam?
My first stock up team is the Oklahoma Sooners that we were talking about. And the biggest reason for this is if you're looking at their schedule and how tough it is, one of them was Michigan. And to clear that first hurdle, I think sets them up for so much success. And I think what this also does is getting that non-conference win is something that we look last year. Alabama wasn't able to get it. I don't think Ole Miss had one. Clemson obviously had, South Carolina had to win against Clemson at the end of this year. But if you're going to be a team who goes 9-3, you need one of those classic college football bullet points. And a non-conference win against Michigan is one of those. So that's my first stock up team is Oklahoma.
I had Oklahoma on my list. I just spilled beer all over my desk. I don't know why the beer just exploded. All right. Mississippi State, stock up, way up. Clear.
Way
USF,
up.
stock way up. Another clear one. So I'll give you Baylor. That was a really good win.
That was. And that's a team that I think a lot of people had as a potential Big 12 winner. And they lost a tough game to Auburn, but come back and beat SMU. I think Baylor is going to be a really tough team to deal with.
Oh, yeah. They're going to throw it like 50, 60 times a game. Like, it's going to be fun. Like, it will be fun. Baylor games will be fun. And then give me another stock up.
Oh, so I had USF on mine, so I won't give you that one. My other one here is, okay, these kind of go into conjunction, but like Utah and Texas Tech in TCU as Big 12 frontrunners because of what we've seen from Kansas State, what we've seen from Baylor's defense, what we've seen from Iowa State's offense not looking great at times, although Iowa State at 3-0 should feel really, really good about themselves. But for me, it's the Big 12 contenders that aren't named Kansas State are winners right now. And that's a very, very crowded conference. And then my other stock up, dude, Florida State might have some mojo. And I know they played a school that I don't think is a real school, but when they're looking around the rest of the ACC and you see Clemson struggling a bit, you see Louisville struggling a bit, you see SMU losing a game to a Baylor team that can't
and
play
you see
defense.
Ty Simpson with the highest QBR on the weekend.
Yeah, you're starting to feel like Florida State might have some swagger at some point this season. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep it going because that might have just been a moment versus Alabama, and then they play a not real school in week 2. But Florida State as like a vibes team somehow came out of this week a big winner for me because of what we saw in the
down
rest
Bill
of the
O'Brien
ACC.
for what
And
he
from
did
Duke
to
too.
Thomas Castellanos. Like what B.O.B. did to Thomas Castellanos, like taking all the good shit that he does, because he was a rising star 2 years ago in the ACC. And they had no offensive line, and he ran around a lot. And it's 2 games, but when you beat Bama and you score 70 points in week 2, I mean,
Vibes.
they look good. Stock up for Sam. And then I had Illinois and Vanderbilt, like, because I was a doubter on Illinois. I wouldn't say I was a doubter on Vanderbilt, but when they do that to a power school on their home turf, I have to put stock up for them, man. Like, they're going to have a shot to beat South Carolina this weekend. It's a tough spot going to Blacksburg and then to Sandstorm, but they might be able to do it.
Yeah, if they do, they're going to look real pretty to some AP voters if they win next week. That's for sure.
Stock down, I'll start. VT.
Yeah. That's how VT stock's going right now.
What else you got?
2008 housing crisis type stock drop for them. Arizona State. This was a team that was such a darling last year, and to see them struggle a bit in week 1 versus Northern Arizona, not struggle, but they didn't blow them out. And then to lose to Mississippi State, I think they're a big stock down for me. And another stock down I had, other than obviously Virginia Tech, Clemson, I think is on the ropes. I think that's one of the reasons why I like them against Georgia Tech next week. Haven't officially bet that one, but I'm feeling it. They are going to quietly be a backs against the wall team this year, I think, because they're not going to be blowing people out, even like they were last year. Like last year, they had a couple blowout wins early. They haven't had that yet this year, and I don't see them getting it next week. So Clemson is a team that I have as a stock down nationally.
I'm going the other way on that. It's early in the week, so it's hard to say for me exactly right now. But what's the line on that Clemson game? My papers are all wet. It's
like
9.5. 9.5 is the line right now.
Too many points. It's too many points.
Right. Like I got to take Georgia Tech. Like they are not afraid. Like Haynes King is not afraid of Clemson. And they're in Bobby Dodd. So
and like Haynes King didn't even play last week. I don't think he really played Saturday.
Stock down for me, Florida. They were at home. They lost USF. Stock down. K-State. Oh, God. I don't know what's going on. I like that coach. I really do. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Horrific start to the season. Don't play in Ireland. It'll just ruin your year.
Don't do it.
And that's it. And Liberty, but whatever. Fuck
Liberty. I have UCLA on there. I think UCLA is going to – I think UCLA has gone from getting the most coveted portal quarterback to – mid-season firing is a potential.
Are you ready for playoffs?
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Do you want me to go first this time?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
And then you throw mine up there. Okay, no. I got this. So my 4 out of the SEC, we have the 2 schools from the Lone Star State, Texas and Texas A&M. Look, people, you got to stop complaining when Texas wins a game 38-7. Okay? You got to stop. It's okay. They're going to be fine. And then
that's
my
a
other
Ken
2
Niumatalolo team.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say. He's a good coach. I know they lost week 1, but like I was on San Jose State to cover that game. I still think Arch and Texas look good.
Yeah. LSU I have on there is pretty easy one there. And Georgia I have, although they looked like crap against Austin Peay in another lightning delay game, but for me, Georgia is sitting right above Tennessee, Ole Miss, Alabama, South Carolina right now. Next week, we'll decide Georgia's fate in that one as they play Tennessee. Out of the Big Ten, the same 3 that it's always been for 2 years now, Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon. Out of the ACC, I'm sticking with Clemson because I think they can still I'm not going to sell on Clemson because they lost by 7 to a very good LSU team. So I'm sticking with Clemson, but just barely. And then Miami, I think, is the best team in the ACC right now. And again, we'll find out this week as they play the team I have from the G5 in South Florida. That's a really, really fun matchup on the CW, Pete. Tune into the CW. Oh, man. And then from the Big 12, my top 2 now are Texas Tech and Utah. I think those are 2 teams that are taking care of business right now. They're healthy. They're feeling good. A lot of season left to play in the Big 12, but the 2 black and red teams in Texas Tech and Utah are the teams that I'm taking right now.
It's not a bad playoffs. I mean, you have USF from the G5 as well, right? So
yes. So I mean, I'd watch that playoff. You'd have some awesome matchups
for sure. So for me, let me put mine on the screen because I accidentally clicked on Sam's. All right. I have LSU, Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. No changes for me this week. The Tennessee pick is still my least confident. I just feel like they have the most manageable schedule down the stretch. And A&M and OU and Florida and like whatever, Florida already lost, but like the schedules are just really rough for some of these teams. So I'm going to stick with those 4 from the SEC and the Big Ten. Still simple. I'm not putting Michigan in yet. I'm not putting Nebraska. USC, I'm thinking about it. Maeva has been
Maybe.
good against some bad teams. I want to see them get tested, but USC, they've earned a watch, so to speak. UCLA, I mean, good God. Like that conference, like Iowa and Michigan lost, UCLA lost, but Illinois did get the big win. So maybe Illinois should be the fourth team that we talk about here. So keeping an eye on them as well. In the ACC, I have switched. I have the two Florida schools against all my better judgment. I have finally done the Miami and FSU matchup in the ACC title game. It's been 20 years. It's about that time. They actually play in 3 weeks, I think. So that's going to be really cool to see. But we talked about Clemson a lot tonight. I'm not seeing it. They can prove me wrong, but they got a big test this week. If they have not, like Dabo's teams will get better. They always do. But will it happen in Atlanta this weekend? Like, I don't know. And if they're 0-2 or 1-2, it gets more difficult. So I like the two Florida schools. I feel like if Miami takes care of their business against South Florida, that will help knock South Florida down. I'm a Memphis guy. Memphis hosts South Florida later in the year. USF may be battered and bruised by then, so I'm sticking with Memphis. I've got Notre Dame. I think they're probably going to go 10-2 and still make the playoffs, so I'm keeping Notre Dame in there. And one representative from the Big 12, because I do think there's going to be some of them that like eat each other in that conference. So I'm going with Utah. That's been my pick from day one, and I'm sticking with it.
Sure. That looks good to me. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many SEC teams you can mess around with in this.
And there's so many big games this weekend too.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe we didn't give Illinois enough credit. Maybe I should have considered them over Tennessee.
They're going to be in there.
Like maybe I should. I'm thinking about it. At the very least, Illinois fans, if you're watching, like I am thinking about you. You are close, just like USC. All right. Week 3 games. Clemson at Georgia Tech. Talked about it already. 9.5 point spread. Early lean towards Georgia Tech for me.
I'm early lean towards Clemson.
Georgia at Tennessee. Whoo, big one. Big one in Rocky Top. 3.5 point home dogs are the Volunteers.
I know I just had Georgia in my playoff, but that is as of right now. I think after that game in Knoxville, give me the Vols. That's just one of, they win so many big games up there, man. So many.
They do. And this is going to be a test for Stockton against that defense. Aguilar going the other way. I mean, both of these teams can probably afford, they can afford 2 losses and still get in. Can they afford 3? Maybe. And so how relevant is the result? It's relevant because the winner is going to have a head start on getting to the playoff. And so it's, in that respect, it's big. And I'll take Tennessee as well. USF at Miami. The line is Miami minus 17.5. This is the same line as Florida and USF a week ago.
Again, I'm doing it. I know I picked them in my playoff, but skeet skirt. This is how college football works. Miami, what a letdown spot this is for South Florida. Like, what a massive letdown spot this is. I was initially on Florida last week initially on USF. I switched to Florida after listening to some people on podcasts and whatever else. And then as it got closer to game day, I'm like, hell no, I'm taking USF. And I'm being completely truthful. I don't have any reason to lie about this stuff. Took USF, got the win. In this one, I'm taking USF again. I don't see Miami's going to win the game, but it will not be by 17.5 points. So I'm taking USF. Florida at LSU. LSU minus 9.5. Yeah, Tigers in this one. I think Florida might have some serious offensive problems here with Lagway and the time that he's missed over the last couple years. And that LSU defense is significantly better than it was last year.
It's a bad place to try for a bounce back.
It's not a fun place to play.
Going to Death Valley to try to get a bounce back. I think they could cover. I mean, it's 9.5. And
it's
a
always
week
a
ago,
tough game. It's always a close game.
This line would have been like 4.5 last week, something weird like that. So I want to take Florida. I really do. And I think I will for it right now. That's what I'll do right now. Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Great game. Notre Dame, 6.5 point favorites at home. You got another culture clash game here. I like Notre Dame, man. I think they'll get it done.
We are very A&M. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced on Notre Dame this year. Give me the Aggies. I think the Aggies have their 2 wins, dominant wins over UTSA and Utah State. Those are not great teams, but they're well-coached teams who do have talent. I think those are 2 more impressive results than people think because of the manner in which they've done them. So give me A&M in this one.
I gotta look up A&M's run defense. I'm gonna go through a little bit more of a statistical deep dive before the end of the week, but I feel like CJ Carr showed me something in the Miami game.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do a better run pass balance and Freeman is a good coach, this feels like a spot where they could win and cover at home for me in South Bend. Vandy at South Carolina. Had to put this one on here. South Carolina 5.5-point favorites at home. That's a low line.
Give me Vandy. Give me Vandy.
I feel like you're right on that.
Yeah,
you're right. I just want to watch it. Like I would like.
I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see those teams.
Well, that's also true. I just like I kind of hate both of them right now, so I kind of want to see them just beat up on each other.
What's crazy is of the 3 teams I've watched play football this year against the Hokies, I think I hate the Hokies the most.
No one hates my team worse than me. That's for sure. We need Notre Dame and Miami to win this weekend to really help ACC credibility because Notre Dame would strengthen Miami's case, and then Miami would also get a ranked win. So that would help if they got those 2 wins. But VT is doing all they can do to ruin the ACC credibility. Like we
I
really
don't think we have that
over.
pull anymore. To be honest, I don't think
like no one cares if we lose anymore, right? Like
no.
It's like, oh yeah, VT lost another out of conference game. Like what else is new? That's 15 in a row.
Whoa.
15 in a row, power schools. I think that's the number. So we'll get into more of like that kind of stuff. Like I said, stats, a little bit of meta stuff just on losses and podcasting in general. Like, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Of course, the voicemails. Next episode will be fun. Listen, this is tough times, and we're talking about.
We got our venting out of the way tonight. Yeah,
we did the majority of our Vanderbilt venting tonight. A little bit more when we record 2 deep, but for now, thank you for watching the show. If you made it to the end, let's get a special word here, Sam. We could go with something
Wolfpack.
simple. Want to do Wolfpack?
Wolfpack.
Since they beat LOL UVA?
Yep, Wolfpack.
We'll celebrate that.
Let's
All right,
go.
put Wolfpack in the comments if you made it to the end. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts 2 Deep. If you haven't already, please do that and just set it up for automatic downloads. You don't have to listen to them. You can delete them the next day, but just set it up. It would help us. And also like the video where you can get all of our videos and all of our podcasts on the Sons of Saturday channel on YouTube. But make sure you're subscribed to anywhere you get your podcast. Hey, thanks, Dennis. We got a Wolfpack in the comments. Oh, this is scary right here. ODU will beat VT Saturday. Mark my words. Pryor will be fired after the loss.
One of those statements is I don't agree with. You can figure out which one that is.
I don't even want to know because either one not being true or being true. I don't like it. I don't want to lose.
Oh, I don't like
ODU.
it either. But
I don't want to lose to ODU. Thank you, JT Wolfpack. And until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.